Hello and welcome to Gadget 360, and today we'll be unboxing another brand new smartphone, and this time it's the OnePlus 7T Pro. So let's get started. Now before we go ahead, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and also that bell icon so you're the first to know whenever we have a new video. Okay, so this is the box of the new OnePlus 7T Pro. It looks very similar to the OnePlus 7T that we recently reviewed. Similar type of messaging in the front, completely red box as opposed to the white boxes that we've seen before. And we have some of the specifications and RAM and storage variants, which we'll get to in a bit. So let's unbox this and see what we get inside of the OnePlus 7T Pro. Now let's see what we have inside. Ta-da! Okay, so this is the 7T Pro. The first thing we have is some leaflets. Okay, so we have an invitation letter. Let's just quickly rip this open. Okay, so it's another little message from OnePlus co-founder Pete Lau. Takes this aside. We have some OnePlus stickers. We have some safety warnings. There is again, warranty information basically, and that's about it. Next up is the phone itself. So let's unwrap this. All right. So this is the OnePlus 7T Pro in what OnePlus is calling as the haze blue color. So this is the haze blue. Looks pretty slick, very a little bit similar to the nebula blue that we've seen on the OnePlus 7 Pro. We take a closer look at the phone in a bit. We just set it to boot and we'll take a look at what else we get in the box. Okay, so there's a little tab here for this. Next up we have the charger. Now this is what OnePlus calls the Warp Charge 30T charger, which ships with the T variants of its 7 series phones, and according to OnePlus it's supposed to be up to 23% faster than last gens. So we'll put this to the test in the full review, but that's what it is. Next up we also have a transparent silicone case in the box, which is always handy. Well, let's not forget the SIM eject tool, and last but not least we have the classic red USB Type-C charging cable. Okay, now before we set this up, we actually have one more unboxing to do, and that is the OnePlus 7T Pro McLaren Edition. So OnePlus has also sent us the McLaren Edition of the 7T Pro, and as you can see it's in that classic McLaren orange color. This one is called Papaya Orange, the shade, and this one's available in 12 GB of RAM and 256 GB of storage. So let's quickly keep the regular one aside for now, and let's quickly take a look at what's so special about the McLaren Edition. All right. So this is just the outer packaging. We have the actual box that's inside. Pretty neat looking box. Let's open this up. Right, I don't think there's anything different over here. It's the same reading material, warranty and quick start information, just in orange. Here is the actual phone, which actually looks really slick. So not sure you can see it in this angle, but it's actually all black with these orange accents on the sides, and you can see these accents once at certain angles when light hits it. You also have this McLaren branding at the back over here, and you have some very interesting like a textured pattern beneath the glass, which we'll get a close-up of this in a bit, but definitely an interesting looking phone. So let's power that on and keep that aside for a bit. Okay, next up is the charger. Once again, McLaren branded and also themed, so it's all black. And I'm guessing this is probably the Warp Charge 30T charger itself, but we'll find that out in a bit. Okay, next up is the charging cable, and this time around, once again, it is orange, but instead of the regular rubber coating, we have this nice braided cable. This is a pretty cool touch. Okay, this seems like that's pretty much it, although this does still feel a little heavy. And yep, we have these little orange markers at the bottom, and okay, so we have a hidden compartment underneath. Interesting. And here, we have a special McLaren themed case for the phone, so you don't get that plastic silicone cover. We have this nice hardened silicone case with this fabric-like material and this carbon texture finish on the side. So it's a TPU case, but pretty interesting finish. And I think that's finally it. Yep, that's about it. Okay, so now that we have unboxed it, let's just quickly dive into some of the differences between the standard version and the McLaren Edition. So if you look at it cosmetically, obviously there is a major difference. This one, the regular one, is available in this haze blue finish, whereas this one is available in this black and papaya orange trim. It also has this really unique texture below the glass, which really looks really neat, actually, very stealthy. But apart from that, physically there's not much. There's absolutely nothing that's different. All the buttons and the ports are exactly the same on both the models. There is a difference though in a slight difference in the software in terms of the wallpaper. So as you can see, the stock wallpaper of the OnePlus 7T Pro looks like, and this one is in the McLaren Edition. So you have this dark theme with orange like racing stripes, and there are a whole bunch of them, in fact, which are exclusive to the McLaren Edition. So as you can see, there's this, and yep, there's a whole bunch of them that you don't get in the standard edition. So let's just quickly cycle through. So these are the wallpapers from the standard one, and these are the wallpapers that you get in the McLaren Edition. So pretty interesting. Okay, so now that we've seen the 7T Pro and the McLaren Edition, let's take a closer look at what makes the 7T Pro so unique and different from the regular 7 Pro. So there are three main things that have changed from the older model. First of all is the processor. So this one is running the Snapdragon 855 Plus compared to the 855 in the regular 7 Pro. The battery is slightly bigger, so the older one had a 4000 mAh battery. This one has a 4085 mAh battery. And last but not least, what we already talked about a little while back, this one has the new Warp Charge 30T charger compared to the standard Warp Charge. And according to OnePlus, they say that it provides up to a 25% faster charging times. So we'll put that to the test in the full review to see if those claims are true or not. But let's do a quick side-by-side comparison with the 7 Pro. So this is the 7T Pro, this is the 7 Pro, and as you can see, they look pretty much identical. The dimensions and the weight and everything are exactly the same, so it's really hard to tell the two apart from the colors. This is the new haze blue color here, and this is the almond finish that we have of the 7 Pro. Now, one difference that you will notice is if you look beside the camera module, you can see that OnePlus have moved the laser autofocus system from within the camera module, which is embedded in this little strip over here, over to the left hand side. So that's pretty much the only physical difference between these two phones. Okay, when it comes to the display, this is still the same 6.67-inch Quad HD Plus Fluid AMOLED display as OnePlus calls it, and that's primarily because of the 90 Hz refresh rate. So this one still has the 90 Hz refresh rate, which makes everything feel a little fluid and just feels a little snappy. You also get dual stereo speakers from the top and bottom that support Dolby Atmos. So the regular 7T Pro will come with 8 GB of RAM and 256 GB of storage. Like all OnePlus devices, this is not expandable, and the SIM slot at the bottom will accept 2 nano SIM cards. The 7T Pro, just like the 7T, is running on the Android 10, which is actually Oxygen OS 10. That's based on the latest version of Android. That's Android 10. We'll just quickly take a look, and there you can see it's Android 10. And finally, we come to the cameras, which again, just like the 7 Pro, hasn't really changed. So we have the main 48 megapixel sensor, which is a Sony IMX586. Then we also have an 8 megapixel telephoto camera, which is capable of 3x optical zoom. And you have a 16 megapixel wide angle camera. And coming to the front, there is still the pop-up selfie camera, which we will just... There we go. So the pop-up selfie camera is once again the same. It's a 16 megapixel sensor and it's using the Sony IMX471 sensor for this. Software-wise, also the software should be similar to what we've seen on the OnePlus 7T that we recently reviewed, but we will get to those details in our full review, so definitely stay tuned for that. So that was our first look at the OnePlus 7T Pro and the OnePlus 7T Pro McLaren Edition. We hope you guys liked it. Stay tuned for the full review coming up soon. And as always, for everything tech, log on to gadgets360.com.